once again. Welcome to this 50th episode of SkillUP program. So the number 50 itself gives me so much happiness. So I wonder how it has already been, 50 and 50 fortnights of presentations gives me great, immense pleasure. I am extremely happy to have started this. When I started this program, I was not very sure how long it would go, how many episodes we would make, how many people would come forward to make these presentations. But the response has been overwhelming. I'm really extremely happy, and I'm also excited today because this is the 50th episode in the series. So I just would like to welcome you once again by inviting you to this program. I'm very happy that more than 100 people have already joined. I'm looking forward to many more joining us. I welcome Dr. Manoj Shah, our International Vice President, LCIP Speaker Shyana Jayalath, and everyone else who is already there. I just would like to repeat what I have been telling every time, that this program was designed and was created to offer a kind of a platform for all the LCIPs from the Isame area. So there are more than 100 of us, and then we thought, why should not we create an opportunity for ourselves to share our knowledge, our skills, and whatever with people who are interested. That was the main idea. And at the same time, we wanted to help FDIs, RLLIs, ALLIs, all those who are interested in upskilling themselves, learn more and be more. That was the idea behind this. At the same time, sometimes we are inviting non-lions also who we thought might be interested in programs like this. And whenever the topics are not exclusively related to lions, I've been sending the link to some non-lions as well. So it was some kind of a win-win situation for every one of us. We gain, you gain, everybody gains here. That's the idea. So we had series 1 2 years ago, and we had lots of presentations. Each of these presentations was made by an LCIP. And each of these presentations had either a director or a past director or a president or a vice president or some important dignitary as the chief guest. So that was a very, very successful year for us. And enthused by the success of that program, we went on to the second year. And the second year also was very successful with quite a lot of LCIPs showing interest in this program and coming forward to make presentations. So some of them were new, some of them had just become LCIPs, and many of them had presented, quite a lot of them had made a second presentation during the second year. We are into the third year now. This is the second presentation this year, and this is the 50th episode in all. So more than 35 to 40 LCIPs have made presentations so far. Some of them have got a second opportunity. Very few of them are likely to get a third opportunity this year. But as far as possible, we have tried to give this opportunity to those who had not made presentations earlier, the younger LCIPs in Isame area. That was the idea it has. So one change that we made this year during the third year, earlier, every one of the programs who used to read out the code of ethics. The program was so very popular when I asked people to read out the code of ethics, starting from young grassroots lions to council chairpersons, past council chairpersons, district governors, sometimes people of very high eminence came forward to read out the code of ethics. But one or two suggestions came to us that instead of reading out the code of ethics, we could spend a little time knowing them deeper. And that's why we have started inviting some FDIs, because FDIs also were asking for opportunities to participate in this program. So I posted a message in the FDIs group, and immediately quite a lot of them came forward to take this opportunity. And every time we are inviting one FDI. In case you have not already told me, you can, other FDIs also can tell me if you are interested. So today we have invited Priyanka Jain to tell us what this second code of ethics is. I invite Priyanka to start. Priyanka, you can unmute yourself. Priyanka, you are a co-host. You can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yes, now it has happened. Hello, everyone. Good evening. And first of all, respected nagaRAJU sir, thank you for giving this wonderful opportunity to all the FDIs, LCIPs, because we get an opportunity for the same. And I am feeling proud today to be amongst all the lions from everywhere. And respected Manoj sir is also going to be there today. So feels lucky enough to be representing today my district 3232F2. And thank you once again, Raju sir, as you are my respected guru, teacher. First of all, thank you once again for the same. And today my topic is one of the most inspiring part of our Lions Code of Ethics, to seek the success and to demand all fair profit as my just due, but to accept no profit or success at the price of my own self-respect lost because of unfair advantage or question X. This is the line of our ethics. What does this mean to us? It means that real success is not only about money, position, or recognition. Real success comes when we achieve these things with honesty, fairness, and self respect. We all have the right to expect fair rewards for our hard work, whether in business, service, or leadership. But that reward should never come by cheating, harming others, lowering our values, or hurting somebody whom we feel that this is going to be wrong for the opposite person. If we win by unfair advantage or wrong actions, that success is empty. It will means nothing to anybody or us. From outside it may look like victory, but inside it feels like a loss for us and our association. As lions, we believe in service, honesty, and integrity. This principle reminds us that our success should always be clean, fair, and earned with pride, empathy, fullness, and before that, we should put our heart out without doing anything else. In short, profit with compromise is temporary, but success with dignity, integrity will last forever in everybody's heart. So, whatever you do, put your heart yourself and ask yourself, whatever you are doing, will you be able to do with others? And others, whatever they will do, you will be accept it. You are able to accept, then that is going to be perfect. And this code of ethic is like an self integrity. Thank you, nagaRAJU sir. This is what I could make it best of.
Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you
And
very
in my
much.
time.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. That has been wonderful. And then you have explained it in great detail. And also you have made it very simple for all of us to understand. Priyanka is from 3232 multiple district, and she's a very, very, very popular lion leader there. And some time ago, I remember she took the initiative to organize an FDI on her own. And that was a really wonderful experience for quite a lot of us. And she's a senior, but quite young leader in her district, and I am very happy that she has come forward to explain this code of ethics to us, this code. Yeah, we are going on to the main part of the program now. We have our chief guest, Vice President Manoj Shaji is here, and I don't think I need to say anything about the chief guest because I think he is very popularly known all over. uh, the second international vice president comes from Nairobi, Kenya. Some time ago, I was in Kenya, and then I can never forget the kind of hospitality that he extended to us. He's into many businesses. He's into automobile. He's into property, real estate. He's into hospitality. He's into finance and into many other businesses in Kenya and outside, I think. So he was he started his career as a charter member of Nairobi Greater. That was long ago in 1988. I think more than nearly about 40 years, roughly about 4 decades. He has been a lion, and during this 40 years of his lionistic career, he has held almost every big responsibility. He was the Africa Lions Steering Committee chairperson. He led the committee, and when he was there in that position, he was instrumental in creating a new constitutional area. Till some time ago, all of you know that there were only 7 constitutional areas, and Africa became the eighth constitution. ISAME had an additional ISAAME. Now it has become ISAME, and Africa is a separate constitutional area. And the entire credit for this creation of a new constitutional area should go to our Manoj ji. He also was associated with the LCIF in many different ways. He became a campaign 100 lead gift donor, an LCIF humanitarian partner, and in many other ways he contributed to LCIF. I think one thing that I like about him is his humility, the kind of readiness with which he always comes forward to help us, and most importantly, the quickness with which he corresponds, communicates. Sometimes I wonder how he manages that. He travels so much. I think only 1 or 2 days ago he was in Chicago for that LCF board meeting, I think. But still, wherever he is, I think it's only a matter of minutes. The moment I send him a message or a mail, I think the response is there. So last week I troubled him with asking him to give me an interview, and even that he did. So this is really wonderful. Then Manoj Shaji also is an LCIP himself. So there is a very rare combination. So international presidents, past directors, being LCIPs also. As an LCIP, conducted quite a lot of training programs at the topmost level. He was group coordinator at the district governors schooling many times, not once. So quite a lot of times. On the service front, he is a pioneer. He started quite a lot of service centers in Kenya. They relate to dentistry, they relate to kidney, they relate to eye, they relate to hearing, and almost every health related area he has pioneered programs and pioneered service activities. They have a first eye bank. He also established an eye bank in Kenya, which was the first of its kind and associated with quite a lot of different programs in his area. And we are extremely happy that the one who has been bestowed with very mighty recognitions from all over the world is here with us this evening to spend time with us. I am so very happy that he has accepted my invitation. I invite Vice President Manusha ji to please address us.
Thank you very much, my very good friend nagaRAJU, for painting such a beautiful picture of me this evening to this lovely August gathering. And a very, very good evening to all of you, my friends. And I can see so many of you, my very good friends from India, from Africa, from my own home country of Kenya, Sri Lanka, Bulgaria, France, and many other parts of the world. And this is really a great opportunity of meeting all of you virtually. First and foremost, let me extend my heartfelt thanks to my very good friend Lion nagaRAJU for inviting me to be a part of this very special session of SkillUP. Today is indeed a landmark moment as we relaunch SkillUP 3.0 and celebrate the 50th edition of this wonderful initiative that has lasted for the last 3 years. Those of you who have attended the previous SkillUP programs will agree with me that you will not only enjoy the SkillUP sessions, but also gain immense value from all the SkillUP programs. And tonight is also not another exception. Over the past years, SkillUP has grown to become one of the most impactful platforms within our Lionistic family. I have been personally been an avid follower of the last almost 30 episodes that have so thoughtfully been organized, featuring presentations by more than 40 LCIPs. What an achievement, and my heartiest congratulations to all of you. This initiative has truly served as a vibrant learning space where LCIPs have shared their wisdom, experience, and skills with passionate lions across Isame and across the world. For many of us, this has been more than just a lecture series. It has been a journey of personal growth and leadership enrichment. I've been very fortunate to join as a chief guest in a few of these episodes, and I can honestly say that each session leaves you more inspired, more empowered, and more determined to serve better. I recall one particular SkillUP session that left a deep impression on me. That evening, the topic was about effective communication in leadership. What struck me was how the speaker emphasized listening as the most powerful tool a leader can have. It reminded me that leadership is not only about giving direction, but about creating space for others to be heard. And my friends, since then, I have consciously tried to practice more active listening. And I can tell you today, from the bottom of my heart, it has enriched my relationships, both in Lionism and in life. This is the kind of transformation that SkillUP brings not only to me, but I'm sure to many of you. The range of topics that have been covered has been remarkable, from Lionism and leadership to soft skills, life skills, and even broader themes that connect directly with our service journey. These conversations remind us that to serve effectively, we must also keep learning, keep improving, and keep strengthening ourselves. And now, SkillUP 3.0 has begun with a renewed energy and purpose. That to me is very exciting because it means more opportunities, more ideas, and more impact. This evening, we are very fortunate indeed that our speaker is none other than Lion Shyana Jayalath, who is the multiple council chairperson of Sri Lanka, multiple district 306, that this year has multiplied the number of districts that it has had. She will be enlightening us on a subject that is extremely relevant in today's world, building a personal brand. And just to share with all of you that this year, our guest speaker, Shyana, has been appointed by our international president to serve on the International Ad Hoc Committee. And friends, I believe and I've heard that our guest speaker is passionate not only about bringing women in Lionism, but also how to involve women in our day-to-day activities and motivate them to become future leaders. Friends, in our Lionistic journey and in our professional and personal lives, our personal brand is what sets us apart. It is not just about how people see us, but about the values we stand for the skills we develop, and the impact we leave behind. This evening, The subject matter is on creating a strong personal brand that builds trust, inspires confidence, and opens doors to greater opportunities. It also ensures that our leadership and service journey resonate with authenticity and purpose. And I have no doubt that tonight's session and our guest speaker, Shyana, will equip us with practical insights to strengthen our personal brand and, in doing so, strengthening our ability to serve. So, my dear friends, let us open our minds, take in the learnings, and continue to grow through SkillUP. Together, let us embrace the spirit of lifelong learning, for it is only when we grow that we can help others to grow. Thank you all for being here this evening at this special 50th episode, and I wish you all a truly enriching experience this evening. Happy 50th episode now officially inaugurated. God bless you all and enjoy this very special session. Back to you, nagaRAJU. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, sir. Thanks a lot. That is a very, very touching message that you have given us. And then you talked about that communication skills program, but your communication skills have always been extraordinarily brilliant. You speak with such flow that I think everybody gets captivated whenever you speak. I am extremely happy that you agreed to come here and then spend some time with us. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. We'll take off from here and then we'll try to do as many programs in this series as possible. Actually, I would like to tell you that when I sent a notice this year requesting participation from LCIPs, the response was so very much, I could not accommodate even half of them. So because this is not this is a fortnightly program, I had to tell them, I had to say, sorry, I cannot accommodate you this time. There are no slots available and we'll see next time, because I wanted to accommodate as many new LCIPs as possible. So anyway, thank you very much once again. So shall we go on to the main part of the program? Yeah, yes. So Shyana is already there. So as our chief guest has already said, she is the multiple council chairperson of multiple district 306 in Sri Lanka. This is a newly carved out multiple district. I think, as the chief guest said, all the districts in Sri Lanka have been bifurcated. I think there are quite a lot of districts created now, and she is the first multiple council chairperson for that. She doesn't look a council chairperson. To me, she looks a little girl, a young college girl. And to introduce her in the formal way might not do justice. I always see a spark in her eyes. I always see a very bright smile. In fact, when I was associated with her when she did her LCIP, right on the first day when she came to the class, the right first moment, I guessed and I knew that she was going to be certified. So that kind of brilliant look and that kind of brilliant attitude she has. So instead of telling her about what her achievements are, what she did, I just would like to tell you that she believes in individuals becoming much more empowered, much more capable, much more able, much more participative, involved, so that team succeeds. So her main important faith is that when individuals work together, when individuals contribute, when individuals are passionate, team success is automatic. This is the faith with which she worked as district governor and also in many, many other roles. And her slogan, her theme when she was district governor was believe in the power of one. So one is powerful enough to bring about change. So that was the theme with which she worked, and then she made many, many achievements. And I don't want to take her time. I invite Shyana to make the presentation. The topic is interesting and relevant to everybody. So please listen to her and how you can build your own brand. When I invited her, I told her that she could speak specifically with reference to facilitators. But later I realized, why should I put that word? And then I removed that. I said build a personal brand and removed that as facilitator. So Shaina, over to you.
Thank you so much, nagaRAJU. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity as second vice president. Thank you for those very kind words. I really appreciate it. It's wonderful to be here. It's like being back at my LCIP class because both my lecturers at LCIP are here, nagaRAJU and Rajesh Mehra. So hopefully I would not be as nervous as I was when I was doing my certification. Before I start, um, stemming from what nagaRAJU said, I think that would be a good opening in terms of I do not look like a council chairperson. A little anecdote was when I was district governor and I had to run our club office school, and about a week later, I get a call from our past international president, Mahendra Surya, who I must tell you, despite his age, is a real agent of change. And whatever radical but small changes I want to do, I used to go and speak to him, and he would mull over it and ask, why do you want to do it? And if it made sense, he said, fine, that makes sense. So then I get a call from PIP, and he said, he congratulated on the club school, and he said, I just want to give you some feedback. I'm like, okay. He said, one past governor came up to me and said, you don't dress like a district governor. I said, what? Then I said, okay, PIP can't, I'm not that traditional, would wear a sari for every function that you go to. And I guess that's where I had unknowingly built my personal brand and kept going forward. And what I told PIP was, I think the thing is now, I'm a district governor from a generation which is younger than the generation of the previous district governors. So there is going to be that change, and there is going to be that look, not that you discard or discontinue your respect for tradition, which you do, and I'm very traditional in that way, but you will see that type of change coming through. And while we look at our personal brand, we will see more of these people coming into our association, and we need to be able to interact and deal with them and not, keep them out. So let me share and play a small video. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, Shyana.
Okay.
The term branding, people use it interchangeably with logo design, identity design, or even sometimes typography. And maybe we need to set the record straight. I know you're the best person to tell us, what is branding, Marty?
Yeah, so let's start with what branding isn't.
Okay.
It's because it's not a lot of things people say it is. It's not a logo.
Okay.
A logo is a very useful tool for a business, but it's not the brand. It's a symbol for the brand. A brand is not a product. So when people talk about this brand, buying this brand or that brand, they're really talking about buying one product or another product. The brand is not that. People say the brand is a promise the company makes to customers, and there's some truth in that.
Yep.
I mean, it does end up acting as a promise, but that's not what it is either. Advertising people like to say, well, it's the sum of all the impressions that a company makes on an audience.
Yeah.
Well, if you're trying to sell a lot of impressions, I can see where that might be useful to you. But from a business's point of view, why do they want that? Right. So, and how does that help
Self-serving
creative people understand what they're doing?
Right.
So none of those things are really what branding is. A brand is a result. It's a customer's gut feeling about a product, a service, or a company. It ends up in their heads, in their hearts. They take whatever raw materials you throw at them and they make something out of it. But they're making it, they're creating it. And so in a sense, when you create a brand, you're not creating one brand, you're creating millions of brands, like however many customers or people in your audience.
Oh.
Each one has a different brand of you. So a brand is like a reputation, right? So it's your business reputation, and everyone's going to be a little bit different about what that reputation is. And that's okay, as long as you've got it corralled mostly where you want it, and that it's beneficial to the company. So we tend to look at companies and designers tend to look at branding as, from our point of view, like this is something we're doing. We're telling a story. We're making a claim. We're making a pitch. And that's what we do, but that's not what a brand is. A brand is the result of that. And if you don't start there, you don't know what you're doing. You actually don't know what you think you know what you're doing, but you don't. So from a designer's point of view, I mean, I always tended to be this way. It's like, it was my gut feeling, right, about whether this is going to work or not. And then I would sell it as hard as I could to get the client to sign off on it. From the client's point of view, they're going, well, it's a checklist. I got the logo, I got the tagline, I got the ad campaign, click, check, and they think they're done.
Right.
None of that's right. What's right is what happens in people's heads. Like, what have we achieved? Like, what's the reputation that we've created through the products we're putting out, like the design of the products, the messaging we're putting out, the look and feel of them, our culture, how does that affect people? How our employees behave, how is that affecting our reputation? All that stuff counts. So it's a big world, and it actually takes in almost all of business. Not so much finance, but finance is involved too, because finance has to greenlight all these things. But almost everybody in a company is, affecting the brand, doing something with the brand, doing it for the brand, or hurting the brand. So you got to think of it that way.
Whew. I do want to say one word, because
So when I was thinking about this presentation that I was to make to you, I'm a marketer by profession, but I'm a marketer by profession, but I went back to my roots, but then I did some more research. And I thought that this was going to be the main focus. A brand is your reputation. The video told us everything that the brand was not. And it says, it is what happens in people's heads, right? And it also said, as long as it's correct, as long as you have control in a certain elements, that is where you start building a brand. So let's just go through. So this is my session, building a personal brand. Let me get this out of the way. It's kind of there. So a brand. What would you think of you? What would you think of a brand? What do you think you are as a brand? It's basically who you are and what you want to represent. Because even though we look at brand in marketing, we look at branding as in product, service, organizations, association. We are talking here about personal branding. And we need to be able to put ourselves as that product, as their service, whether it's as entrepreneurs, whether it's at our workplace, whether it is as lions, as leaders. Who are we? Who are you, and what do you want to represent? That is what your brand is. And when I studied marketing, what my marketing lecturer said many years ago was, when we were, I love branding communications. What he said was, when you're looking at a brand, when you're trying to figure out your strategies for the brand, equate your brand to a person. If your brand was a person, what strategies, what markets, what areas would it go into? So it made sense. So your brand is who you are and what you want to represent. So that's the most important thing in you understanding what you want to represent, because that's where your authenticity comes in. Even if you do repackaging and everything that is, the essence of who you are comes out in your brand, because that is what you are creating. You are creating your brand through your actions, inactions, through who you speak to, what you do, what you stand for, where you are seen, how you are seen. So that is where what the brand is. But then what is a brand image? We talk about this as brand and brand image. What is a brand image? A brand image is how others perceive us. How others perceive us. So whether or not it matches what we intended it to be, or what our brand was to be seen as, we have no control into what happens in another person's mind. So that's why he says, what happens inside the customer's heads? They are creating the image of your brand, of you. So even if you're a facilitator or a trainer, based on what you're doing, how are you being created in somebody else's mind? So a brand and brand image, when they kind of sync together, is where you really bring in strength. Where you really bring in strength. So if I were to just put this side by side, let me just get this up there. So brand and brand image. So your brand is your intentional identity. I, Shyana Jayalath, if I'm told to wear sari to some place, I might not do that. But they would not expect me to wear that. That is my intentional identity because that is who I am. I can control my actions. I can control my messaging. I can control my values. Right? The focus of a brand is who you are and what you want to represent. So the brand, which is on this side, on the left-hand side of the screen, is everything, an intentional identity controlled by us, focuses on who you are and what you want to represent. What is the nature of a brand? It's strategic and proactive. Why? Because you're controlling it. So for example, my brand, I feel that a personal value of mine would be, I am an innovative, approachable leader. I would say to myself, this is what my brand is going to be, and this is how I act. Right? But on the brand image side of it, people may perceive me more as a creative problem solver. Maybe not a leader. We don't know. So while your brand is your intentional identity, your brand image is the perceptions others have of you. And here is where it really matters. Your brand image is controlled by others through their experiences and opinions. Their experiences with you, their opinions of you, because they're relating to you within their framework. The focus is how you are actually being seen and experienced. So look at it. Focus on brand is who you are and what you want to represent. Focus on the brand image would be how you are actually seen and experienced. Then a brand image, the nature, it's reactive, interpretive, because this is in somebody else's mind. You have no control of it. Though you have, in a sense, by certain demographics, certain things that you do, some strategies, you would have a certain idea about how people might perceive you, but you are not really sure, right? So if you look at, say, Apple as a company, so Apple wants to be, they want to be innovative, their simplicity and premium design. As Simon Sinek says, they are in the blue ocean. They are in it for the long haul. They don't care about their competition. They do what is correct. And that is who they are as a brand, as what the company says. But brand image, the image the public has of them, and maybe not everyone, it may be there are very ardent Apple users, people who queue up for hours outside the Apple store to get the latest model, when they can wait for 2 weeks and walk into the store and take it much easier. But they see Apple as cutting edge, aspirational, and sometimes expensive. But that doesn't mind. The word aspirational is extremely important here, especially in marketing, especially when looking at branding. All of us as people want to be seen with people who are equal or better than us. That is normal. That is normal. So before we talk about a personal brand, we can even relate this to our organization. What is the intentional brand of our organization? What is our intentional identity? And what is the perception others have about our organization. The perception of Lions who are having a good time, of Lions who are not having a good time, of the public, of those we serve, whom we serve, and those who have no idea as to what we do in our organization. So brand and brand image, they need to like really sync up to build a stronger personal brand. So why is a brand image important? So I'm taking this in the product and service context, and then I'll talk a bit about it in a personal identity concept. It influences consumer decisions, builds customer loyalty, sets you apart from competitors, and impacts the bottom line. Now, here I'm talking about the brand image, not the brand. Why? Because this is external, in another person's mind. However much I shout from the top of the roof about who I am, and what I stand for, my acceptance and what really matters is what goes on in the market mind, or ideally a target consumer, because we are not everything to everyone. We are not everyone's cup of tea if they like coffee, right? So we need to work to make sure our brand image works well for our target market. It's rather than shooting, machine gun across, very target and focused. Simple things of marketing: segmenting, targeting, positioning. Positioning comes with your brand image within that specific segment. So let's look at personal branding for influencing consumer decisions. If I'm a business person, say I'm a trainer, I'm a LCIP graduate or certified LCIP trainer. Okay, so my brand image can influence decisions of those who I would like to connect with, speak with. If Lad nagaRAJU did not have a good image of me, he would not have accepted my, interest to have spoken here. Though I think his things are a bit, after being in his class, he always did think that I'm a little strange, nutty girl, but that was, I hope, influenced part of it. But it influences consumer decisions. It would have influenced, your partner to say yes to you. Your brand image, knowingly or unknowingly, because what we don't understand is we are building an image every day, all the time, except when we're at home. And that too, there's an image our family has of us. Builds customer loyalty. If, based on what I do, if the image what others have of me is pure and positive and in line with their values, it will build loyalty. It definitely sets you apart from competitors, not because you walk in, bragging or being loud or, being the loudest laugh. No. It can be any of those, because there can be very quiet, very sedate people who have a very strong brand image, or can even say a brand personality. And it impacts the bottom line. So this comes here, looking at an organization. But let's look at it as Lions Clubs International. We have a brand and we have a brand image. So if our brand image is to positively impact our bottom line, for me, that would be attracting more members joining our clubs and our association. So we really need to think, despite all the good we do, all the marketing that is out there, showing people what they can experience as Lions. As you may know, the latest campaign that's come out from Lions International is Experience More at Lions. Different types of photography with people's Lions in action, showing members and prospective members You can be yourself. You can find a space to grow. You can lead. All of that. Experience more. Make new friends. Good for mental health, for sure. So we are doing all that to boost our brand, but we're no control over what image the outside world has of us. But it doesn't matter what everyone thinks. As long as we figure out what does our target audience think? Who do we want to come into our movement? Is our brand image helping them to come in? Are we an aspirational brand? Now in Sri Lanka, I can tell you, some clubs, people aspire to join those clubs. They would ask to join those clubs because they are known by reputation for their work. They have a certain factor attached to it for whatever reason, especially some older clubs. But there may be some who would run away because they think that we are an old uncle's club. So my club, the Lions Club of Colombo Host, we are the first club in Sri Lanka, 67 years old. And we had that issue when it came to, getting members in. But right now, I could say that, easily the average age of 80% of our members is between 35 and 50, maybe 55, which was not the case earlier. So how our image is impacting our bottom line is younger people who we invite are willing to join. So this is why our brand image is important, even as lions, even as trainers, because each of us are a reflection of our association, and each of us are a reflection of ourselves as trainers, as speakers, as leaders, at whatever level it is. So, components of building a brand image. I hope nobody thinks that this is like a marketing lecture, because it is not. I really enjoyed putting this together, looking at our audience, because I understood that there may be quite a few non-marketers also in the forum. So components of building a brand image. What I'm doing here is taking what we've done as marketing for products and services and basically relating it to a personal brand. Logo and visual identity. Logo and visual identity, I believe, in our personal branding would be how we appear to others in terms of the way we dress, very important in terms of the way we act. Okay, there was this interesting video I saw on social media recently. It was a gentleman who was advocating, I think, some financial investments and how to reach out to high-stake clients. And he said, you have to be at your best dressed when you go to meet those millionaires and billionaires. And then, like, the younger people say, like, why do I have to dress like that? Mark Zuckerberg is a billionaire and he doesn't dress like that. And, so-and-so is a billionaire and he doesn't dress like that. And this guy has told the younger guys, yes, but they are billionaires and you're not. So if you need to get to that stage, you need to be dressed in a way where people will actually trust and respect you, because whether we like it or not, first impressions are created as soon as people see us by the way we dress. And we know that if somebody walks in, it doesn't have to be expensive. It's the way you're put together. It shows that you take care. So logo and visual identity, advertising and messaging, here relating it to a personal brand, to a person, is basically what tone of voice you use. How is your communication? How is your verbal and non-verbal in terms of how you speak, what you do? Does what you do relate to what you say? Because deeds, not words, like there is this saying, people watch what you do rather than listening to what you say. So this basically comes around to building a personal brand, product quality and customer satisfaction. Here we relate it to the experience people had with us. If I'm a trainer, I go and deliver, I interact. Do people like my style? Are they happy with it? That is basically here. Values and social responsibility, so much more so now with the younger, like with Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, values and social responsibility. And here is where you match your words to your deeds. For example, we have new recruits come into our clubs. We conduct orientation. We speak to them about the code and ethics of our Alliance Club and how we conduct ourselves and all that. And then on the road, you see someone screaming at somebody else and not exactly behaving in the manner they're supposed to. Let me reiterate again that, especially when it comes to personal brand building, and it's not meant to be like arduous or anything like that. We are doing it all the time. We're doing it all the time. Emotional connection. Emotional connection is what will set apart any of us from the rest of competition. Because at the end of the day, in a distanced world where everyone is more on their own, with all the connectivity, we have more loneliness happening. The emotional connection that you create through your personal brand of being who you are, if that image that you actually people have of you connects to them to you emotionally, that is very powerful. So these are some of the brands which I thought I would just take up here. I mean, Amul, the Taste of India. For me, Amul was never in Sri Lanka, but I had experienced the product when I was in India during my many travels, because I was in the tourism sector at some point of my life. And when they came to Sri Lanka, at once I used it because I had experienced it. I had good experience with it and I trusted it. Dilma is a homegrown brand, which is international brand, value-added teas. Can anyone tell me what the next brand is? Are they able to unmute and say what the next brand is? Is it possible?
They cannot unmute themselves, but they can write in the chat.
Okay. I'm having an issue looking at the chat, but that's fine.
If anybody raises virtual hand, I'll unmute you.
So has anyone said Nike here? So this visual logo, which has no words, is one of the most recognizable logos. And this brand stands for just doing it. But for going through. It doesn't talk only about winning, it talks about just do it. Taj is one of my favorite hospitality brand groups, which I put there. So I put 3 of the more outgoing social organization brands. Lions, yes, very recognizable. What is our image out there? BNI is coming up very strong, going purely on their business thing, and they're quite open about it. Their target are the business people, that's it. Rotary as well. So when we look at these brands, we have to think of what is the image we have of each of them. So building your personal brand, 5 elements. Let's go through these and see how it goes, because it's bringing it together with your brand and your brand image. Let's see, building your personal brand, especially in this modern world. So just go through 5 elements. Number 1, define your goal. What do you want your brand to achieve? What do you want your brand to achieve? Is it you want to be a successful entrepreneur or known to be a speaker? Do you want to be known as you may be into religious messaging, and are you being seen as a spiritual person? What do you want your brand to achieve? Define your goal. And here we have to very specifically write it down. I'm still a person who writes everything in a notebook. I can't do notes on my phone. It drives me nuts. But when you write it down and you're specific about it, clarity really helps our efforts. So you need to first, number one, define